we both just watched the Valkyries stomp the Indiana Fever in Caitlin Clark's first game in quite a while. And we had a discussion yesterday about whether or not the Valkyries would win. And my thought was, you can take advantage of Caitlin being a little rusty, the team having to be back playing with her after having to figure out how to play without her. And early in the morning, it's camp day, I guess, is the reason they played so early in the morning. Valkyries on the road have not been great. And they went out and just beat the bumps off of the Fever. What did you think about the game?
Well, like you said, we talked last night, and I was completely wrong. I thought the Fever were gonna beat on the Valkyries just because they lost at home to the Sparks in a game that they should have won, and I thought they were gonna go get this one, especially with Caitlin. But yeah, I was completely wrong.
And by the way, I think you are the most brought up person on BSPN, and this is your BSPN debut. And
This is my debut.
And you're talking Valkyries. I figured your debut would be Giants or Warriors, and no, you're talking Valkyries here.
I thought it would be Giants, but here we are. Big shoes to fill with Bride out.
So I thought that some of the interesting things watching that game, I didn't watch completely live, but I was pretty close. And watching a game at 9 o'clock in the morning is quite interesting. I was able to kind of watch through some work meetings. I have a specific way of watching where, I try and watch as closely to real time as possible, like a 10-minute quarter. I try to watch the 10-minute quarter in 10 minutes so that I don't waste time. But I kind of liked morning with the WNBA there. And then secondly, the energy. The Valkyries had so much energy in the morning game for them. Obviously in Indiana, it wasn't at 9 a.m. like it was for us, but they had so much energy. I thought they were going to be sluggish. And I guess it comes from your best player, because Kayla Thornton was guarding Caitlin Clark for the majority of the game. She was being very physical with her, in some ways getting away with fouls too. Caitlin flails a lot, and sometimes you kind of wonder if she was really fouled. But Kayla was very handsy with her, and so she was trying to get the foul call and didn't really get it very much. But when you have your best player, who is a bigger player, guarding one of the best offensive players in the league and setting the tone, I think that kind of is what really helped get the Valkyries off to a solid start. But then even better in the second quarter, a fantastic second quarter, and just kind of they ran away with it from there. Like, what did you think about Kayla guarding Caitlin?
That was going to be my first take that I wanted to say, but you took it right there. But yeah, I was completely surprised. I had written it down. I was like, Kayla Thornton guarding Caitlin. I didn't even think she had like the lateral foot speed to keep up, but I thought she did a really good job. Even there was a play where like Caitlin kind of like half spun and like fell, and she kind of like pulled the chair under her. She didn't even really complain that much because she kind of knew like she stumbled. But yeah, that was my first what's it called, thought when I was watching, was that Kayla was guarding her and doing a really good job too.
The Caitlin handle was interesting because I thought she got loose with it a little bit too much. And a lot of times it was when she was trying to turn. When she was going left and turning, it seemed like they saw that as an opportunity to go after the basketball. And they got like 3 steals off of her from that same type of play every time. Offensively, Kayla Thornton, of course, was really good. But Veronica Burton, I thought, had her best game. 21 points, 6 assists, 8 rebounds. She's all over the floor. She's probably got pieces of her skin on that court still for how many times she hit the ground. But you've been kind of up and down with her, whether or not she should be their point guard or she should play as much as she does. What'd you think about her game today?
Man, I was wrong about everything today because she was shooting the lights out. What I thought was pretty, maybe not Burton, but the Fever got out to like a 12-6 lead early, and I was like, oh, they're just going to get run over. I thought the Valks stayed composed, which is hard on the road. Like, they played, 2 days ago? Mm-hmm. That I thought that had every chance to be a blowout, and the Fever were just playing with a bunch of pace. But I thought the Valks stayed composed, and part part of that is just Burton setting them up, but she was just making a lot of shots too from deep.
Pretty interesting too. There's so much trust with Natalie and Veronica. Like if you look at the minutes, we'll mention this in a second, but Carla Leite was finally back. Carla Leite, even when her box off or her box score stats look bad, which they did today, she's almost always a plus, which is funny. But Veronica Burton played 34 minutes. No other Valkyrie played more than 28. Tip Hayes played 28 minutes. Tip Hayes and Veronica Burton, the best plus minus at plus 22 for the game. But I think she just trusts her. She probably sees a floor general. Veronica Burton isn't flashy. She's a little bit more of a bulldog. She's a smart player. You don't see her throwing reckless passes like sometimes Carla is wont to do. And previously Julie Van Loo as well. You know, they were more looking for like hitting a home run, and Veronica Burton's hitting singles and doubles. And that worked today in a game where they needed, like you said, to stay composed. Kayla Thornton is their best player. She's their all-star. But Veronica Burton very much so is their leader and their 1B. And it was really good to see her have such an excellent game, especially because, you know, whenever you play Caitlin, you got more eyeballs on you than when you're not playing Caitlin. So that is something that I really liked about today, because after the last two games, you know, you mentioned the slow start on the Valkyries. I was like, oh man, you know, they've lost two in a row. Those two teams that they lost to are really good teams. So, you know, no harm, no foul. But if they kind of get on a little bit of a losing streak, it's a little bit of a regression to the mean, you know, because Brian and I have been talking about playoffs. Like there's a legitimate opportunity for them to make the playoffs. Then you go, oh no, this stretch where they may kind of come back to earth. And no, they actually did the opposite today, which was fantastic to see. And I was just amazed. Like the shot making was there, the defense, like this, the defensive energy was there. They trap almost at the perfect time. It seems like, you know, they have a sense for that, the sense for the moment of when they can create the opportunity of turnovers. So all that was really awesome to see. So someone we've been talking about for a little while, Brian and I especially, but someone that you're a big fan of, is Carla Leite, and she was back. Now, she probably needs to get a little closer to the basket because those 3-pointers were short. But I think they miss her energy. Like, she's got so much energy. She's like a bouncing ball on the court, and I think they missed it. You know, kind of the opposite player of Caitlin Chen, who's a little bit more like Veronica Burton in her style. But you miss that, like, you know, the jumpiness from Carla. What did you think of Carla today?
Yeah, the jumper was not falling, but I just think she brings like a different element as a guard, like finishing around the basket, because Burton is kind of bulldozing in there to draw the foul, doesn't have like the slick finishes, but Carla gets in there and is kind of Kyrie like with the left hand and whatnot. So yeah, the shot was not falling, but I think she had an opportunity where it was swing swing. She had the shot, but she just up faked it and just got right to the hole, finished with the left. So yeah, I do think they missed a little bit of that Chen and Burton don't do as much.
So the only two players who did not get in the game, which is surprising because the Valkyries did win this game by 19 points, 80-61. They outscored Indiana 20-9 in the second quarter, and then also won the third and fourth quarters after Indiana won the first quarter. The only two players who didn't play, Stephanie Talbot and Cecilia Zandalicini. I'm not sure what that exactly means for the team, you know, heading into the future, because they do have, you know, they can play all 12 players. That is kind of a gift and a curse in a sense. So looking ahead, they play the Aces on Saturday, and we'll play the discussion that Brian and I had going over the last two games here in a second. But Brian said he's going to try and go to that Aces game, Aces and Valkyries in Vegas on a Saturday afternoon. You are also going to be in Vegas. What is your schedule for Vegas?
I definitely want to go to that game. I was telling Brian that I do want to go if the tickets are cheap and whatnot, but the plan is wake up, swim in the little pool at 12, go to the gym, sit there for 5 hours, watch whatever, and then, yeah, come back. That's like the 3-day weekend.
you got to get some Alex Tui takes if you're going to see any Warriors
Oh yeah,
games.
yeah, yeah.
And
Definitely.
then so they play Saturday, then they play Monday, both road games against Phoenix, and then Wednesday another road game against the Storm. Friday another road game. No, actually, I think I have this wrong. Sorry, Phoenix at home, Storm in Seattle, Dallas at home. So that's next week's schedule.